Do you have a burning message inside of you that you know you need to share, but you just haven't yet? Are you ready now? Do you know that you can share your message with confidence and ease, where it will position you as the expert, even if nobody knows your name? Guess what? Tomorrow on Facebook Live, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are interviewing international speaker, best-selling author, and coach AJ Vassar right here. He's going to answer those questions so that you are ready to share your message with those that need to hear it. See you soon.
Mute. Oh, there I go. I am ready. So guess what? Yesterday is today. Today is the day. Woo! Are you excited? I am super excited, y'all. I just couldn't wait for this interview and I'm trying to make sure that you guys can hear me on the mic. On the mic, one check. Yes. So I was so excited about this interview today because there are so many people who wonder, what can I do? What can I do to get started in speaking? Like, I have a message, but I'm not sure how to share it. Or maybe you are the person who's saying, other people tell me that I should be speaking, but I'm really not sure how to get started. Well, guess what, you guys? Take a seat, get your notepad out, because today was designed with you in mind. Yes, we are interviewing AJ Vassar today, and he is an international speaker, like I said. And guess what? He comes from his own experience. He talks a little bit about in his bio how he had to gain the techniques to do what he's doing. And so because he's a professional, because he's an international speaker, because he was homeless before, you guys, homeless. And now this man is out there making it happen. And guess what? He wants to make it happen for you too. He wants you to understand that you could just be one step away, one movement away from living the life that you envision for yourself. And so if this is your first time joining us, welcome to the Speaker Circle, where we bring just amazing speakers to you every month to make sure that you are ready and you are positioned for what you need to do to get to that next level. But I've been waiting for this. I had wanted to do it earlier, but okay, I just have to be patient. So I've been so excited about doing this interview. And so I'm not going to keep talking, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on the screen. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There he is, y'all. There he is. Yes. Welcome so much. I'm so happy that you could join us today. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. This is fun. I always love doing this.
And you guys, since we can't give hugs, how do we do that? We show some virtual love with our thumbs ups and some hearts. Let's do that, y'all. Let's show him. Yes, he's going to give you some information. You can at least give a heart or a thumbs up. Yes. And guess what? Go ahead and share this to your friend that you know needs to hear this, okay? Don't keep this information to yourself. And so I shared a little bit about you, AJ, but I would love for you to share a little bit about exactly who you are and what you do. What is it that you do exactly, so the audience can know who they have before them on this beautiful Tuesday?
Okay, so who am I? I am an underdog. I'm a statistic. I am somebody that had to beat the odds, probably like a lot of your listeners. Somebody that got started late, that didn't come up in the ranks, the ranks, as people say. And I had to figure it out. I had to figure it out on my own. I had to, I didn't have anybody that was assisting me in the beginning, and it came from just asking a lot of questions, from being rejected, and understanding that, one rejection just leads me closer to getting that person that's going to tell me, yeah, I'm gonna help you out, even if I have to invest a little bit, whatever it takes. And that's who I am, right? In my bio, the thing that I love saying is that I'm the son of Patricia Perkins, and I love saying that because, yeah, that's my inspiration. That's my mother. That's like, she's the reason why I do what I do, and I love saying it. It make her cry every time she hear me say it, because
hey, mama.
I know she always say, you put me on your bio like I'm somebody, and I'm like,
yes, you are. Right. So
Yeah.
let's give it up for his mom. Yes, let's show some love for her on today. And I'm gonna go ahead and shout out my mama, Jonna McGee.
There
Yeah,
you go.
that inspired me. Now I'm telling you, my number one road dog is my mama.
Yeah.
She is just always there. She supports. She loves me up, down. She's seen me in every aspect and never loves me differently. And so I just love that. I love that. Thank you.
Oh,
So a little bit, why did you start speaking? Why did you start this as a career, or how did you end up speaking?
So I first started off as a professional barber. And I was cutting hair. I had the largest barber shop between St. Louis and Memphis. And I started mentoring a lot of kids from my barber chair. And you know, I grew up in the drug culture, I guess you could say. I never got into drugs, but I was influenced by it. So, you know, as a barber, although I wasn't doing anything illegal, I still wanted to look like the dope boy, right? So I had the car on 23-inch rims. I had the motorcycle, you know, but I was just doing everything legit. And I started hearing kids say like, man, we wish we had your life. We wish, you know, we wish we had it like you. And I was like, yo, I'm giving them a false reality because they don't realize how much I struggled. You know, they don't know what it took to get here. And one day I was asked to speak to this young people's conference or something. And I just went and told my story. And after I got finished, it was a young lady was there and some things was happening behind the scenes. You know, I don't want to get into all that. But that following week, she called the police and her stepfather went to jail.
Wow.
Yeah. And when her father asked her, like, yo, what made you have the courage to say something now? And she was like, AJ's speech.
Oh, wow. That is so. Did y'all hear that? His speech made someone who needed to speak up, gave them the courage to speak up. Sounds like to protect them on their own selves.
Yeah.
And so that is so powerful. Wow. And you know, I didn't ask you, where are you at right now? Where are you coming to us from?
I'm in Medellin, Colombia, in South America.
Woo! Y'all all the way. Look, we international on the speaker circle right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So if someone is saying, like, they're hearing this and they're like, wow, that's good for you, but how do I know, or how did you know that you were right for the job?
So this is the thing. Speaking is kind of like confidence. Nobody can give it to you but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this is what I truly believe. Knowing that speaking is the number one fear most people have, even over death. If you have a desire to share your story, it's, to me, and I can't prove this scientifically, but I honestly believe it's because there is somebody out there that needs to hear your story to help them with their suffering.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like that's the draw that you feel because I mean, speaking it could be so scary at times. It could be, you know, you being judged, you up there, you're nervous, you're going through all of these emotions, and you know, it's like, so why do it? And it's because that tug, like nothing just makes you just, oh, I'm gonna just be a speaker today, right? It's like, no, it's a tug in your heart. And that tug is because your message is gonna help change somebody's life. So you have to decide, are you going to sit on that, or are you going to change somebody's life?
Wow. So with speaking, can that be a career, or is it kind of just like a side thing, or how does that work?
You can definitely turn speaking into a career. You know, I'm at the place now where I get about $5,000 per speech. So I fly into the US, I speak 8 or 10 times. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. I mean, some people that's what they make in a year. Right.
That's true.
That's what they make in a year.
So when it comes to speaking, are there like any misconceptions or stigmas or things like that people should be aware of or know about?
There's a lot. You know, you don't have to be a motivational speaker.
Oh, okay.
Right. Everybody thinks you have to be a motivator or
story.
Yeah, that sad story. Like I was at the depths of my despair and I was about to let go. Like you don't have to have that because that's not everybody's story. I was actually talking to one guy and you could tell that he had bought into that because he tried to tell us like, yeah, and I almost drowned in my hot tub. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, come on, dog. Like, you doing the most, man. Just and the thing was, he was actually a good speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, everybody doesn't come from despair. You
Right.
know, I slept in my car for 3 months, but I don't go around like, hey, I'm the car sleeper guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm AZ. Right. That was that was something I had to go through. It has shaped my journey. I don't run away from it, but I don't run around just saying like, I mean, because it's right now, when you're a speaker, you just want to be authentic.
Right.
Right. You want to be authentic and you want to find those that your message serves.
That's so good. So I read something that you said, which might kind of help people too. You have like an acronym, RICH.
Uh-huh.
And so I don't know if you want to share that right now. If
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, I'll say that. And I actually in the course that I teach, because I help people become professional speakers, and that's one of the areas that I teach. But I teach in every speech. If you like the speech, it's because it was rich, right? And it's an acronym for relevant, interesting, clear, and honest.
Wow.
Right?
I think that will help people too. I think that is a misconception that you have to have some type of sad story, or you have to live some type of life, or it could be the other way, like I don't have the right connections or what have you. And so I really love that acronym, and I just thought it was so relevant right now. And so I'm gonna type that in the chat box later, guys. And again, if you have questions, you can go ahead and put them in later on today or tomorrow. AJ will get back to those, or you know, he'll tell you how you can contact him. Again, that's relevant, interesting, clear, and honest. So that can kind of help you get over that. I want to address too, while we're talking about the misconceptions. Do you have to have a website? Do you have to have all these things to get started?
Nah, man. So that's another big misconception. Oh, I have to have this website. I have to be polished and all this. Number one, you have to realize the journey of a speaker, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Just like you don't go unless you're LeBron James, you don't go from high school to the pros, right? And you don't do that in the speaking industry either. Nobody's gonna see you and put you. You know, you went from nobody and now you're opening up for Oprah, or you're speaking on stage with Michelle Obama, right? So it's like you have to be willing to put in practice, and that's the thing that I really stress to the students that I have, and even new speakers. Like you can't avoid practice.
Yeah,
you can't avoid it, and so many people want to avoid practice. I think speaking is one of the only industries where people ask me all the time, AJ, how do I get paid to speak? And I'm like, well, how much have you practiced? And then they start sounding like Allen Iverson. Practice? Right? I'm like, yo, practice. Like, yo, you got to get out there and practice, right? How many times have you failed? How many times have you looked stupid speaking? How many times have you got up and forgot what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Right?
Wow, that's really good.
Right?
Yeah. So we know that when it comes to speaking, practice is very important. But it's also a business side to that.
Yes.
So how do you balance, like, say you never market, say you never did any of that kind of stuff, like, how do people get started? What do they need to know? Or what are some things you wish you knew in advance?
I wish I knew not to be scared to hear no. Right? Because think about it. If someone goes out and starts a business tomorrow, unless they were already doing it for free, right? Nobody's, unless people are already knocking at your door to have you do that service, they're not going to knock at your door tomorrow when you open up your business, right? So you have to let people know that this is what I do. And I'm a true testament that no only means not right now.
Yes, that's good. Y'all write that down. No only means not right now.
Yeah, that's all it means. So as I'm getting into the speaking industry and I'm understanding it, then I'm going to do things that allow me to hear the not right now and then move forward, right? Even so, one of the, and this is something that you can use in speaking. I teach it in one of my courses to you know, because I do online courses as well. But I teach them like, yo, you can listen to no, N-O, or you can listen to no, K-N-O-W.
Come on, give them some hearts. Give him some hearts. That was good, y'all. He dropping these nuggets on today. We are here with AJ Vassar. What we are talking about is how do you get on stage even if nobody knows your name? I hope you guys are taking good notes. I hope you guys are enjoying the conversation that we are having today. And AJ, I just want to backtrack a little bit to you talked about practicing and getting those opportunities. What are your thoughts on the number of people that show up? And I've ran into people who will ask, well, how many people are going to be there? And if it's not and I can understand if you're not getting paid and things like that, and if there's travel involved, but what are your thoughts on that, especially someone trying to get into the business?
So this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. When you are making it in any industry, right, you're going to hustle in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Right. I have driven from Atlanta, Georgia to St. Louis, Missouri to speak for free.
Wow.
Right. Those are the things people don't see. Mm-hmm. Right. There was a moment when I was driving everywhere to speak because I just wanted to speak. I didn't care how many people it was. And that was the thing about getting on stage. Right. Everybody looks at these big stage that, these top speakers speak on, but you don't realize like there are small stages everywhere. There are so many small stages in your backyard that you can practice on. And why would you want to get on a big stage and you haven't proven yourself? Because if you mess up on a big stage, everybody sees it.
Yeah.
Right. Hone your skills on the smaller stage. Despise not small beginnings. Learn how to utilize them.
So while you're even talking about that, another question came to my mind about it being saturated right now. Like, well, everybody's speaking to the youth, or everybody's speaking to women, or everybody's doing that. Like, is there space? Is there enough stages for the people who may be watching today? And they're like, no chance.
So this is the thing that I find very interesting, right? Because if you look in the US, there are millions of businesses that get started every year. Mm-hmm. Right. We are the only ones that say everybody is doing something, so we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. That's our community does that. Mm-hmm. But if we go back, so where I grew up, right, there was a million drug dealers, but people still got in the drug dealing game.
That's funny. Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like, why don't we have that same attitude as hustlers? Right. We can hustle legit.
Right.
Yo, and just because there are so this is the thing. When you get into the speaking world, you hear these big name speakers and you're like, oh my God, they're so popular. But then when you realize that nobody even know these people outside of the speaking world.
That is, you know what? I found that to be true too. I'll be like, well, they're like, who? I'm like, oh.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You think everybody know Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins. They don't know these people. Mm-hmm. Yo, and it's think about all the kids that graduate school every year. That graduate college. Yo, and this is something else I want your viewers to understand. Number one, Tony Robbins. Let's take a Tony Robbins, right? Probably number one in the coaching industry, right? Doing it like that. There are certain people that Tony Robbins cannot touch. Because they look at him and they be like, yo, you're a white dude. You had it all together. Mm-hmm. You had all the advantages. I'm not going to listen. Right. There are certain people that AJ Vassar reach out to that I won't touch that you can touch. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody has their lane.
That's good. You seem like you have found your passion and you have found like your niche when it comes to speaking. I don't know if that's the word we would use, but where you the lane you're supposed to be in. And that is really good. So what if someone is saying, they have the desire to speak, but they don't know like what they're passionate about, what they should speak about. Is there a method or something that they can start thinking about to see what is something they should consider?
Yeah. What do you like? Mm-hmm. What do you like? Right. And I say this because when you start speaking, you have to realize that you're going to be saying that speech for a long time. Mm-hmm. If it's good, right? So you need to pick something that you like. You need to pick something that interests you a lot because you're going to be sharing that message a lot. If you look at Lisa Nichols been telling a story about her bank account for years and years. And so if she didn't like it, I feel so sorry for her because she's been saying it for years.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So you have to find what you like, right? There is one of my students is a pet psychic.
Wow.
And she gets booked to speak.
Okay. So there's something for everybody then, I guess.
Yo, a pet psychic. When she told me, I was like, word?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to
Real
like,
talk.
wow.
I was like, word? And she was like, yeah, and I want to take your program because I believe it'll help me. All right, cool. Because everybody has their lane, right? The problem is we want to emulate people instead of just go out there and be authentic to who we are.
Right.
I don't need Tony Robbins' audience. I'll create my own audience. When I open my mouth, so your speech should be like honey. When I open my mouth, it's gonna draw who it's gonna draw. And it's gonna repel who it's gonna repel. And I'm cool with both of those situations.
Right. So it sounds like people just really need to be comfortable in their own identity with their own voice and the message that they have to share. And focusing on that will get them far.
Yes. And there are skills that you build and you invest in yourself, but it does take a level of just understanding, yo, I am significant. My story is significant, right? The biggest problem we have is all of us have substance.
Yeah.
We don't know how to transform that substance into stages.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. Once you transform your substance into stages, the world opens up for you because there are people that want to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Obviously, you just shared you have a student, that does something that I would never have thought that, okay, but there is an audience for that. If you have a passion, and especially if you know it, like you might do something like sewing or whatever. There's probably speaking opportunities for that. Whatever you kind of do, think about like other people want to learn and hear about that. So I think that is really, really good. So the moment you shared before, was that the moment you knew that this was what you want to do? Or when was that moment that you were like, this is me?
That's the moment I knew I could make a difference. I wanted to speak a long time before that. My father is a pastor, right? He was a pastor before he passed away. And, I knew I didn't want to preach, but I knew I wanted to help people. I always like helping people. I always love seeing people get them aha moments. That moment let me know I can turn this into a career.
Okay.
Like, oh, wow. Like, I can change people's lives for real. Like, this ain't play. Like, I saved somebody's life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really what it did for me was it made it more than just speaking. Because the next time I saw that little girl and she gave me a hug, that hug changed my life.
Wow.
Because no amount of money I've ever made speaking can amount to what that hug felt like.
That is amazing. That is so amazing. So getting just a little bit personal, like what is your personal mission in life and how does that align to your speaking life, your speaking business?
So my personal mission in life is, and I'm working on it now, it's called Freedom Project 350. I want to help 350 people achieve freedom. And I was actually inspired by Harriet Tubman. She freed 70 people in her lifetime. And we look at it like, 70, but I'm like, yo, that's 70 people that she had to walk. You know what I'm saying? She walked them.
Yeah.
Right, to freedom. And I realized what's happening is that the reason why she was so successful is because she was big on accountability. Once you left, she wasn't letting you stop.
That's good.
Right. So my thing is, if you start with me, I'm not gonna let you stop. Right. I like one of my humble brags is in the online course space, there is a 3% completion rate average. In my courses, I have 100% completion rate.
Wow.
Because if you start, I'm not going to let you stop.
So, and we were going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this later, but I just kind of want. So, what is it that you offer people?
So, I offer them a journey of becoming a professional speaker in one of my courses, right? So, I want to take you from I have a desire to speak to getting on stage in 90 days.
Wow.
So, and it's like, yo, and in my life, you have reasons or you have results, and I don't care about your reasons.
Wow. And so with the 100% complete rate, is that just completing a course or completing and actually getting on stage?
Out of everybody that's been through the 90 days, the 90 days everybody's gotten on stage.
Wow. And how long have you been doing this now?
I've been doing this now for 2 years.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. And so was your passion to start to actually move from, just speaking yourself and actually bringing people on with you? Was all the questions, or what was the thing that sparked where you were like, I need to help people so that they can share their voice?
Well, it was hearing people tell me once I got finished speaking how much I changed their life and they wish they could do the same. And I'm like, you can. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things like, why can't you? Right. And they're like, oh my God, you're so this. And I'm like, yeah, because I practice.
Yeah.
Right. I've practiced. That's why. Right. I didn't wake up being a speaker. I remember when I first started, and this is one of the reasons why you need to practice. When I first started, I was like, yo, why aren't people booking me? Like, my speech is down packed. Like, and then I realized I'm looking at video and I'm playing with the bottom of my shirt. Right. Or I'm standing behind a podium and my left leg is just drilling a hole in the ground because it's a nervous twitch. Right. And although it makes me feel comfortable, it also makes me look unprofessional. So that's one of the reasons why we practice, is because all of us have nervous twitches.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not until you see them and you're able to actually find out what your nervous twitch is and find out what makes you look unprofessional that you can start making that change. And then you start commanding different fees in the marketplace.
Wow. And so was there someone that bridged that gap for you, or did you kind of just learn everything on your own? How did you get to this point?
So, like I said, I'm not scared to hear no. So in 2015, I was working with this company and I was recruiting event planners. And it was interesting. I tell this to people: whatever your job is, don't just do your job, right? Be there to learn something. So while everybody else was recruiting event planners, I was building relationships, right? Because I knew event planners hire speakers.
Yeah.
So then I would just ask them, hey, will you mentor me? Nope. Cool. Hey, will you look at this? Nope. Cool. Hey, do you have time for me to holler at you about this? Nope. Cool. Until one of them said yes. Right. And they didn't give me an opportunity. They was just like, yo, and all I did was I started showing them different speaking courses I was taking. And they was like, yo, who teaching you this stuff? This trash. And I was like, and they was like, I hope you're not paying for this. I was like, yeah. And they felt sorry for me. And they, eventually I just started building more and more that started helping me and teaching me the business side of the game. Because I was speaking, but I didn't really know the business side. I didn't know what event planners was looking for, how to set myself up and set myself apart from other people, even if I didn't have a website. How to utilize resources in the speaking industry. I didn't understand speaking terms, right? Every industry has their own terms. Right. If you're an electrical engineer, you use terms that other people don't use, right? Before COVID-19, I had no idea what PPE was in the medical industry.
Right.
Now, you see what I'm saying? Now I know what PPE is. So in the speaking industry, it's the same thing. Right. There are speaking terms. There's speaking terminology. If you don't use that, if you don't know it, they're going to be like, yo, are you a speaker for real? Because the number one thing that speakers don't realize is the meeting planners don't have a problem paying you $5,000 to speak. Because the keynote that they brought in, they probably paid $100,000 to $150,000. So paying you $5,000 is nothing. What they can't take is you ruining their reputation. That's what scares them. It's not the money. You can't ruin their reputation, because for you, it's only $5. For them, it's their career.
Wow.
Because that's all they have in the event planning industry is their reputation. So if they have a reputation of bringing horrible speakers in, that's going to hurt their confidence. They're going to lose their job.
Yeah. Right? So that's really good. So you have built, so it sounds like too that in your program, people get to learn both sides, the speaking and the business side.
Oh yeah, I actually bring meeting planners into the course so that you can hear it from them. Because it's one thing to hear it from me, right? You'd be like, is that really happening? So no, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna bring in 2 event planners, and I do it for every class. I'm gonna bring in 2 event planners, and I'm gonna let you hear from them, and you can ask them questions. And for most people, it's funny. Event planners are like unicorns. Like everybody heard of them, but they've never met them.
Yeah, where are they at?
Right. So for most people, it's their first time ever talking to an event planner. So they like, yo, this is so cool. And they ask questions, and the event planners help them because the event planners they want new speakers. That's the thing. They want new speakers. They just want to make sure you're going to be an asset to me and not a liability.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've bridged the gap by building the relationships with event planners. I know you also are author. So how has that helped? If you can share a little bit about that, and has that helped your speaking career?
It's helped a little. Being an author, it's almost like your calling card, or a business card. For me, it's cool to say I'm an author, but the most important thing is always adding value. So I would tell people, don't become an author just because you want to get speaking engagement. Become an author because you want to add value to people. Because overall, that's what event planners are hiring you for.
Yeah.
They're hiring you to add value to people.
So this just made another thought come to me. When it comes to having a talk or a signature talk, or what people call it, a couple of different things.
I hate that word.
How do you know? Like, say, before I ask, some people might not know what to talk about. But what if you do have a couple of lanes? Like, I really know a lot about A, B, and C. Do you speak about A, B, and C, or do you kind of narrow that down? Or what is your advice for new speakers?
Okay, so for new speakers, I always tell new speakers, come up with a universal speech. Don't have a signature talk. Signature talks are niched a lot of times, right? So you want to have a universal speech. With a universal speech, you can transition it to fit a lot of different topics. Okay. And in my universal speech, I speak on, at the core of it, I speak on quantum physics, epigenetics, and neuroplasticity. Right?
I don't know what that is, but okay, that sounds.
Guess what? During my speeches, you know what I never say? Quantum physics, epigenetics, or neuroplasticity. Right? Because it would violate one of my rules, because that's not clear. Just like you said, I don't know what none of that is, so why mention it? Right? But at the core, that's what I speak about. But since my speech is universal, I can transition it to where it fits in productivity, it fits in innovation, it fits in diversity and inclusion, it fits in transformation, leadership, right? I understand how to create a universal speech to where I can switch my speech up to where it's the same speech, but I can take it into all of these different categories because I understand how to make it universal.
So as a speaker, do they need to consider, and maybe not at the beginning, like hiring an assistant or like to handle some of this stuff, or is something that they really can plan and handle on their own?
Yeah, they can handle that on their own because ain't nobody talking to you. Don't know, like nobody reaching at you like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like saying you go grab a basketball and say I go hire an agent. No, start making free throws, right? Like let's get the basics down first, right? Because a lot of times what you'll do is you'll go out to the crowd before the crowd comes to get you, right? I like to call it the Jesus principle. And like I told you, my father pastor, so a lot of my stuff is. So if you think about it, like when I was understanding and studying life of Jesus, everybody's like, oh, Jesus had all of these followers. But for the first part of his life, he was going to them, right? He was always going to them, always going to them, always going to them. It wasn't until the end that the 5,000 started following him. But he had made so many trips out to them. People don't want to do that part though.
Yeah.
Right? They want to just put up a sign and say, I'm open to speak, and people going to call them. But no, you got to get out there. Like, I tell people, yo, as famous as Jesus was, right, especially to the way we look at him now, he still had to go to them first.
Wow. Thank you so much. So what was a moment for you? And you had talked about like just that that you just kept going, you kept asking. Was it, did you ever have a moment where you just felt like, I'm gonna give up? And if so, what was it that helped you to get over that?
Oh yeah, I still have moments. I want to give up today. What you talking about? It's COVID-19. Like, yo. So I mean, that's just a natural reaction of life, right? Yeah. You never have it made. So the thing that helps me keep going is I always tell myself, cool, you can quit tomorrow.
Good.
I just always tell myself, bro, cool, finish off today, you can quit tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
you'll have a fresh something in the morning. You'll be all right. Yes.
Right.
So you're giving a lot of advice out to the people today. I hope you guys are taking good notes. We're going to be wrapping up soon. But what is some of the best advice that anybody has ever given you?
Some of the best advice was right now was 5 years from now, 5 years ago. Think about it. I'm going to say that again.
Right now. Mm-hmm.
Right now was 5 years from now, 5 years ago.
Right. So you can start now.
Right now. Right. Because if you think about it, 5 years ago, we was all saying, oh, in 5 years.
Yep.
And then you get there, you like, and then you'd be like, but 5 years takes so long. But right now was 5 years from now, 5 years ago.
Right.
So just start.
Mm-hmm.
Just start. And it's interesting. When you look back, it always seems so much shorter. Mm-hmm. Right. I remember the first night I was in my car, I was like, yo, am I ever going to make it out of my car? Mm. Right. And 4 years later, I was very fortunate. I had given away 5 cars and I was moving out of the country. And I was like, wow, that happened so fast.
Right.
Right. That time flew by. But in my car, I was like, I ain't never going to make it. Life sucks. Should I be here? Like, right. But it happens that fast. Right. I always tell people, think about how fast middle school went by. Mm-hmm. That's how fast you can change your life.
So what would you typically say it would take for someone to really start seeing some momentum in their speaking career?
18 months. But you got to hit it. You got to hit it. You can't play with it. You can't.
So what sacrifices maybe people need to start thinking about that they might have to make, or maybe some sacrifices you made to do that?
The sacrifice you have to make is realize, yo, I'm either going to have reasons or results. Mm-hmm. That's the sacrifice, right? Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing I see hindering speakers and entrepreneurs alike is that we don't have integrity with our word. We lie to ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, and you've been lying to yourself so long that when you say, yo, I'm going to be a speaker, your mind says to you, yeah, just like you said, you're going to lose 30 pounds.
Ooh, come on. I say that all the time. We'll have integrity with other people, but we won't have it with our own selves. That's why I think, too, earlier you talked about accountability. That's why it is so important to position yourself to be accountable to yourself.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. Because that's the only way you're gonna make it. Because inwardly, your body, your mind is like, yo, I know you're lying. You know what I'm saying?
I think that has to do with fear too, right? And so, how can people manage that, or what can they really do? Just do it, or yeah. Like when you think about what fear is, right? A lot of people say fear is false evidence appearing real. They came up with, but that's not the definition of fear. Fear is actually the anticipation of pain. Mm. So when you know that, you ask yourself, what pain am I anticipating? Mm. So once I can identify the pain that I'm anticipating, then I ask myself, AJ, have you went through hard things before? Yeah, I have. Did you survive? Yeah, I did. So why can't you do it this time? Mm. Right? Wow.
Yeah. You have to anticipate. You have to really understand and isolate the pain that you're putting in your mind, that you're saying is going to happen. What's the pain I'm anticipating? Maybe I'm anticipating the pain of rejection. Mm. Well, we've all been rejected by somebody.
Right.
We still here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So let's go get a couple more rejections. What they gonna do? Laugh at me? Cool, right? Every time I think about that, I think about all the people that we call celebrities, and I think about all the times they've been laughed at, but we don't talk about that no more.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Right.
booed off stage. Beyonce fell down the stairs in a concert.
Oh, I never knew that.
You see what, like, and that's what she got back up and did it again.
Mm-hmm.
Mary J. Blige done been booed at so many concerts, and she's still Mary J. Blige. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, are we gonna go through it? Right? What's that pain I'm anticipating? Am I anticipating that what's the worst that could happen?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's
and then
good.
once you isolate that pain, now I can just attack that pain, and I don't have to tell myself this whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And with speakers, I'm gonna tell you,
and really get going too.
so I'm gonna show you how to use your imagination to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I hope your listeners use this because this is like G14.
Get ready, y'all. Get ready, y'all.
It's like G14 classified stuff, right? Just like we use our imagination against us, we can use our imagination for us, right? So whenever I'm nervous, then I just extremify it. So it's like, yo, you're gonna walk on stage and you're gonna mess up. Okay, then what? Then everybody gonna laugh at you. Okay, then what? Then they're gonna get up and start throwing oranges at you. Damn. Then what? Then they're gonna call Donald Trump, and Donald Trump gonna tweet about you. Then what? Then you know what I'm saying? And I just keep exaggerating it until I'm laughing at the story like I don't even know what I was scared of. Because all of that is an exaggeration, just like I'm gonna mess up.
Right. That is good. That is a good technique there. So since we're almost done, you guys. I'm just really enjoying this. So since you've spoken so many places, what moment has blown your mind, even like exceeded your expectation?
I have a great one for you. It's probably not the top one, but I'm gonna tell you this one because I wanted to help your people. Okay. I was supposed to speak in Atlanta at this place that had 200 people. So I'm like, yo, I'm finna kill it, right? I get to the event. I'm like, yo, it's like 8 cars out here. So I walk in and it's 11 people and I made 11. So I was speaking to 10 people. Okay. I shook it off. I was like, yo, I'm gonna still speak like it's 200. Mm-hmm. My speech. At the end of my speech, I'll never forget. It was a lady named Pauline Key. She walked up to me. She said, oh my God, AJ, I loved your speech. She said, I'm doing a concert tour in Italy next year, and I want you to give your speech before each of my concerts.
Wow. See, that should motivate you too, that numbers do not, because it takes one person.
That's it.
Ooh,
you said numbers earlier. I was like, yo, the number thing, people get caught up on the number thing. The number thing don't matter, right? My homeboy Rob Menger, he's a comedian, a great guy living in Atlanta. He told me something one day. He said you could speak to an audience of 5 and touch 3, or you could speak to an audience of 100 and touch 1. Which one did you have the biggest impact on?
Wow, that is so good.
Ever since he told me that, I've always looked at numbers differently. I go for impact. I don't worry about the number.
So what would you like to resonate with people even when you're gone? What do you want your legacy to be?
That you can do better than me. That's my legacy. You can do whatever I do, whatever bar I set, surpass it. Good. That's what I want for all my speakers. Like everybody that come through my training, I tell them that, yo, if you're not surpassed me in half the amount of time that I did it, why did you work with me? Mm-hmm. That's why you pay me. So you can not have to go through all the stuff that I went through, right? Learn the tricks and techniques so you can avoid some stuff and surpass me.
Wow. So before we close up, I'm going to allow you to just share with the people how they can contact you, the different things that you offer. But what are some maybe additional books or something that people that you would suggest to people, or YouTube or whatever? Anything you would suggest to anybody?
No, I got a gang of books. It's so many books. I don't even know where to start. As a Man Thinketh, that's probably a great one to start with. I say that because it's free. I like telling people free stuff because I don't want people to ever say, oh, I didn't have the money to go get it, right? Mm-hmm. But that is a great book, As a Man Thinketh. As far as, I mean, just listen. So this is the thing. I don't want to tell them different speakers because I want them to go out and find who resonates with them.
Okay.
Right? Because when you're listening to a speech and it's rich, it's relevant, interesting, clear, and honest, it has to be relevant, interesting, clear, and honest to you. Right? So what's relevant, interesting, clear, and honest to me may be different than what's clear and honest to you. Right? So find who your speaker is that you like, right? Because that's what people are going to do with you as a speaker. They're going to find you because your message resonates with them.
Do you still attend trainings and things of that nature, seminars?
All the time. Okay. So this is something that really shocks a lot of people. People say, "How did you make the transition in your life?" Right? You went from sleeping in your car to moving out of the States in 4 years, and you gave 5 cars away. What people don't realize is there was a point during that time period where I was spending more on my education than I was spending in rent. Every month, I was spending more on my education than I was spending in rent. Right? Now, I'm just getting a return on my investment.
That's good. So before we close out, any final advice? And then I'm going to step out and then just share, how people can contact you, what they need to do, what you got going on. Because I know we have to stop the conversation, but some of us definitely are ready to go to that next step. They're ready to make that move. And like I said, you never know who's watching, right? And so I know that we have people who are definitely in their heart, they're like, I'm ready and I need this. So I'm going to step out and let you have the stage for a moment.
Okay. Now I got to tell your audience something.
Okay.
Because I want people to know how nerves really work, right? Because as soon as you said you was going to step out, I was like, wow, why are you leaving me alone? Like, I'm like, no, you don't have to step out. You can be right there. I'm very comfortable with you right there.
I want you to have the stage. I want them just to see you, hear you, feel your vibrations, and get ready to know how they can connect with all this greatness that has been shared on this evening. All right. Okay, cool. The one thing that I would leave you with is that whatever you want to accomplish in your life, you can. The only thing that's stopping you is you. We are creators. We create the lives we want. If you don't like the life that you're living right now, it's time to create a new one. For me, there's a poem that I end a lot of my speeches with, and I'll end this broadcast with, and it says, "Go to the edge," he said. I said, "I am afraid." Go to the edge, he said. I told him, if I go, I'll fall. Go to the edge, he said. He pushed me, and I flew. And for me, that's been my life. Don't be afraid to go to the edge. Don't be afraid to take the leap. Don't be afraid to put yourself in a position where you can fail, because actually that's where success is derived from, is through failures. We actually learn more through our failures than we ever do our successes. Whenever we succeed, the first thing we do is we celebrate. Whenever we fail, the first thing we do is contemplate. So don't be afraid to go through your failures. Don't be afraid to embrace them. I embrace the failures now. There are so many times that I mess up. On this, I probably messed up. And I embrace it. I'll go back, look at it. I'll look at it like game film, and I'll get better. And that's what you want to do. So be real, be authentic to your message. If you don't know your message, holla at me. Also, I also want to give you all, I guess, I don't know, I don't want to say a reward, but just something for being here. But if you want to know where practice stages are, typically I could find people about 50 practice stages in their area. So I'll give you all my information. You get in touch with me, get on my calendar, holla at me. I'm a regular person. I just love life. I love helping people. And if what I said resonated with you, holla at me, and we'll grow together. So that's what I would say. Wow, thank you. So you guys heard that. We will I'll get the information to share in the chat to make sure that if they want a consultation or they just want to check in with you, that they are able to do that.
Yeah, and please book a call with me. There is no offer on my call. That's one thing that I wanted to do different than other people. So I will literally show you how I find practice gigs, and we can go from there. And if you need help, I'll help you. And if not, use the information that I give you and go out and turn yourself into a world-renowned speaker.
Wow, I hope you guys heard that. Now, if you don't do that, are you really ready? Come on now. We got to get ready and stay ready. And so I thank you so much for joining us and being here. This was a wealth of knowledge. I mean, I have more questions, but we only have so much time. And you're not giving out all this free stuff now. I mean, come on.
I give out as much as I can.
Okay. So I really appreciate it. So everybody just give some hearts and some love and thank him for being here. And I want to say thank you guys for joining us. And again, we will be here once a month. Speaker Circle, we bring somebody to you to be able to share that information. Next month, we have Jennifer Hill, who will be bringing information on how you actually do an online summit, how to set that up, how to get great speakers and things of that nature. So if you are thinking about being an event planner, right? You want to do these things, or you're already doing it and you want to make sure that you're executing to a level that is fabulous. Make sure that you connect with us so that you don't miss any training that we bring once a month, because we bring fabulous people. As you can see, we just had AJ here. This was great. This was good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, I thank you so much for joining us. And I will have that information in the chat box. If you have questions or anything, make sure you still put that through there. We will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you and have a very great evening.